From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning and thanks for starting your day with us. Today is Sunday, February 22nd. I'm Max Darrow. Here's a look at what we've got at the top of the rundown. We begin in the Sierra. Search crews have now recovered all 9 victims, the bodies of all 9 victims of the deadly avalanche on Castle Peak. 3 professional guides and 6 experienced skiers died. 6 other people survived. The mountain has seen several days of brutal whiteout conditions, which did complicate recovery efforts. The Forest Service has closed the area through March to investigate. In San Francisco last night, Caltrans wrapped up some major work sooner than expected, which allowed crews to reopen the 4th Street off-ramp from eastbound I-80. Happened 2 days ahead of schedule. The closure started on Friday night for the installation of a new deck section and bridge joint. It's right here. It's part of a larger 2-year project to rehab overpass structures on the Central and Bayshore freeways. San Francisco's new speed cameras are apparently driving a jump in traffic tickets in the city. The Chronicle reports that citations shot up from about 26,000 in 2024 to more than 120,000 in 2025 after the city set up cameras at 33 locations. Now, at the same time, city officials say their data indicates that speeding has declined at sites where these cameras are installed. First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us live now on this Sunday morning. And Zoe, yesterday you were telling me how today was going to be a little bit warmer, but warm is a relative term.
Yes, warm is relative, but this morning it is actually significantly warmer. It's 10 degrees warmer in some locations than yesterday. So yeah, it's already kind of letting you know that we're going to be warmer this afternoon, and that relatively warmer trend is going to stick around for the rest of the week. So the cold weather, you could say goodbye to that for now, and you could say hello to a beautiful sunrise again. Mother Nature letting us know it's going to be another great day unless you live in the North Bay. That's where a few raindrops might be falling right now. So let's take it down to the ground, show you where exactly that storm system is setting up, because it's Northern California, as you could tell, that majority of the rain is currently falling, but a little bit of some shower activity heading down towards the Bay Area. So let's take a closer look at that, show you exactly what we can expect over the next couple of hours, because again, right now, most of us pretty quiet. That's really just the North Bay, up near probably Santa Rosa, that the biggest issue is. But like I said, compared to yesterday, we're a couple of degrees warmer, anywhere from 5 to over 10 degrees warmer from our North Bay communities that are currently seeing rain. The reason is because cloud coverage overnight actually acts like a blanket and it insulates us. So it's keeping those temperatures from the North Bay all the way along the coast about 10 to 15 degrees warmer. Inland areas 5 to 10 degrees warmer. But either way, definitely a more comfortable start to the day. But like Max said, it's all relative. It's still chilly. It's still in the 30s and 40s out there, but it's just warmer than it was 24 hours ago. I'll let you know how warm it's going to get this afternoon, how much more rain is expected to fall, and when we'll finally see a break in the action coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Zoe. Search teams in the Sierra have now recovered the bodies of all 9 skiers killed in the deadly avalanche last week near Lake Tahoe. Search teams had to contend with intense wind and whiteout conditions for several days. They reached the final victims on Castle Peak 4 days after the avalanche struck. The victims were on a guided backcountry tour of the area. 9 people died on the mountain. That includes 6 people from the Bay Area. Here's a look at some of their faces. Search crews were able to rescue 6 other skiers. During a Saturday news conference, the sheriff also took a moment to recognize the efforts from everybody involved in this week-long recovery process.
We still have search and rescue staff and members out on the mountain. So I'm not going to say our recovery mission is complete until all of our responders and folks that have really done an incredible job over the last several days until they're all home back at the office. 9 victims have been safely recovered for their families and their loved ones. While we wish we could have saved them all, we are grateful that we can bring them home.
3 of the victims were expert guides. The Nevada County Sheriff says they were 2 men and a woman from the Lake Tahoe area. They worked for Blackbird Mountain Guides and were reportedly trained in avalanche safety. Their families, friends, and the guiding community say they left a mark on every slope they touched. In the East Bay, Oakland teachers say they feel pushed to the breaking point. Nearly 3,000 educators are now ready to strike after months of stalled negotiations with a contract with the school district. Teachers spent the weekend making picket signs after the Oakland Education Association reported that 91% of its members voted to authorize a strike. They're demanding a 12% raise over 2 years. They say the Oakland Unified School District pays some of the lowest salaries in the region. District leaders say they face major budget challenges after years of declining enrollment. But educators argue those cuts push hundreds of teachers out of Oakland every year, and the turnover hurts the students the most.
We want to keep teachers in Oakland. We have 400 teachers leaving our district every single year, and that is absolutely devastating to our student stability. It's difficult to form relationships. It's also difficult to really learn if every year is a new teacher.
It's a terrible situation, and for parents dealing with the disruptions to our children's learning, to our family lives, to see the teachers we care about suffer in the community.
The union has not set a strike date yet, and leaders say they hope to reach a deal before shutting down classrooms. We did reach out to OUSD for comment on this story, but have still not heard back from the district. In San Francisco, health officials say they're tracking an ongoing tuberculosis outbreak at a local high school, but they stress the public faces very little risk. The San Francisco Department of Public Health confirmed 3 active TB cases tied to Archbishop Reardon High School. Officials say every confirmed and suspected patient now receives treatment, and no one on campus remains contagious. Testing shows about 17% of students and staff carry latent TB, which isn't contagious but could turn serious without treatment. City's DPH reports no related cases at any other school. In Vallejo, police need help finding a missing 28-year-old woman. CHP issued an Ebony alert for aerial effort after she disappeared last Tuesday evening. Officers say she left home wearing a gray sweatsuit and a pink undershirt. She hasn't been seen since. The Vallejo Police Department is asking anyone with information that could help find her to contact them right away. A day after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down President Trump's tariff plan, Mr. Trump isn't backing down. In fact, he's now pushing global import taxes. The president now says he will raise his new global tariffs from 10% to what he calls the fully allowed and legally tested 15%. He made the announcement less than 24 hours after the Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 decision that he does not have the authority to impose sweeping tariffs under the emergency powers law that he used to tax nearly all U.S. trading partners. That power relies with Congress. The president attacked the ruling, and with no evidence, suggested foreign influence played a role in it. Democratic lawmakers praised the high court's decision. The tariffs and the uncertainty are having a continued impact on many local businesses. In San Francisco, some small business owners say they can't absorb any more impact. We spoke with a wine bar owner who opened his spot in Dolores Heights just 5 months ago. He says uncertainty about new tariffs puts him in a really tricky spot. His import costs are already up, but he needs to keep prices fair to keep his customer base. Importers also face a similar conundrum. They say prior tariffs pushed their costs up, and new ones could hit them even harder. In the North Bay, some winemakers in Sonoma say the trade tensions and uncertainty right now is causing problems for the industry as a whole.
With tariffs, you don't know exactly what will be the increase of pricing from when you order one, maybe a month before and the month after.
We're seeing a big pushback against purchasing of American wines. I think a lot of the rhetoric coming out of the administration has caused challenges to some great partners that we've had for almost 2 decades between Denmark and Sweden. We've seen an evaporation of almost 30% of our goods being rejected and not being purchased.
Wine sellers say they will keep diversifying their offerings, but warn the fallout from shifting tariffs could shape the industry for years to come. The Ukrainian community in San Francisco plans a major rally today to mark 4 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of the country. The Ukrainian consulate and community groups will host a Unite and Empower Ukraine rally today at Harry Bridges Plaza. The event starts at 2 p.m. with remarks and national anthems, followed by a march up the Embarcadero from there to Pier 39. Organizers say they want to honor Ukraine's resilience and keep global attention on the fight for democracy. It is 6:09 on this Sunday morning. Let's take a look at some events happening around the Bay today. We'll begin in Oakland. The 9th annual Black Joy Parade and celebration kicks off at 12:30. Organizers expect more than 30,000 people to attend. The parade starts at 14th and Broadway with live performances, food, and art displays. On the peninsula, Palo Alto will ring in the Year of the Fire Horse today with its annual Lunar New Year Fair. The Palo Alto Asian American Connection hosts the celebration at the Mitchell Park Community Center. That goes from 10:30 this morning to 3:30 in the afternoon. They've got a lot of activities and live performances to check out. And in the South Bay, it is the final day of San Jose's Lunar New Year Tet Festival at the East Ridge Mall. That starts at 11 o'clock this morning in the Sears parking lot with food booths and live performances. A lot of live performances today. Organizers say it's one of the biggest Tet Festival events in the region. Coming up after the break, the Giants have a new center fielder as spring training gets going. Matt Lively catches up with the 9-year veteran, Harrison Bader. Plus, tensions on display at the state's Democratic Convention in San Francisco. What demonstrators outside the convention center say they want party leaders to do. Zoe.
Just check out this sunrise. I mean, we have just gotten so lucky this weekend. Gorgeous starts to the day, both yesterday and today. And down in San Jose, you're going to be in the upper 60s where this camera is. On top of Black Mountain, a little bit chillier, higher in elevation. You can see that camera moving a little bit. But I promise you, the winds today, not too bad. Really not many weather issues. Unless you live in the North Bay, you'll have to grab that umbrella. I'll let you know exactly when everyone will have to grab the umbrella coming up.
Welcome back. It's 6:13 on this Sunday morning. Let's talk about the weather. What a change a day makes, Zoe, huh?
I know. I mean, just this afternoon, we're going to be about 5 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday.
Wow.
It's going to feel so nice out there. Still a few passing clouds,
Sure.
But if you live in the North Bay, that's where the umbrella might be necessary.
Okay.
So kind of depends on where you're located, but early this morning, just have to take a second to
Another beauty. Wow.
show you that beautiful view. I love these sunrises to start off the day. I wasn't ever an early morning person before starting to work on the morning news, but I have to tell you, I'm loving these sunrises.
Yeah.
It just makes you want to start off your day on a positive note,
does.
right?
We love it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a really nice day out there. Again, unless you live across the North Bay, you'll have to grab the umbrella, but it's definitely not going to be a rain all day scenario by any means. As you could tell, the thickest stream of that atmospheric river's moisture is well up across the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. A little bit of activity heading our way, but let me show you the future the next 24 hours. And let's replay that so we can follow along. Bottom right corner of the screen, timestamp. Yes, a couple of sprinkles might be heading towards the North Bay, but as you can tell, the worst of the moisture, the thickest plume of that atmospheric river moisture is going to stay well off to our north. So by Monday morning, we'll already be in the clear. And Monday afternoon, it's going to be a very dry day. There is going to be a lot of cloud coverage out there, but really not much to talk about until late Monday night and into Tuesday. That's when another stream of atmospheric river moisture will arrive, bringing that widespread heavy rainfall, not just to Northern California, but the northern parts of the Bay Area as well. The southern parts of the Bay Area to start off the day Tuesday should be dry. But by Tuesday afternoon, everyone should get in on a little bit of that rain, not a whole lot of that rain, but we'll take what we can get all across the Bay Area. We still need it this time of year. And that stream does look like it's going to continue through late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning before finally fizzling out by Wednesday afternoon and into Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week. You should be dry and warming up. So that's great news. And also a little bit of snow on the Sierra, but as you can tell, this is actually a relatively warm weather system, so that snow level is going to be quite a lot higher with this upcoming storm system. Let's take a closer look at the accumulation because, again, it's our North Bay communities. They're definitely going to be seeing the highest accumulation from this first round of rain, but it's not going to be a whole lot. It's the next round. Let's replay that. You can follow along. Timestamp, bottom right corner of the screen. Monday, dry day. But by Tuesday, that's when the widespread rainfall will move overhead. As you can tell, the heaviest of it's still going to be along our North Bay and coastal communities, but our inland East Bay and down towards San Jose, you should still get in on something. The rain-shadowed valleys still going to be getting in on a little bit of that activity. So it really depends on, again, where you're located. But over the next couple of hours, the worst of it is going to be across our North Bay communities. And again, worst of it isn't even that bad. Most of it's going to be north of Santa Rosa. It's definitely not going to be a cancel your plans kind of afternoon. If you do have any plans today, again, let's look at those temperatures. A bit cooler where there is going to be rain in the low 60s. 60s, but upper 60s down into the Santa Clara Valley. It's going to feel really nice. And then look at what happens by Monday. We'll all be warming up, even our North Bay communities, upper 60s to maybe even near 70 degrees in places like Hollister. So we'll be warming right back up to above average through the next several days. If we want to take a look at the future cast, ooh, let's redo that. There we go. 6 to 10 day outlook. It is going to be well above average when it comes to our temperatures, especially down in the desert Southwest. And the bad news, it's likely going to stay drier than normal. That's what that area in brown is across the West Coast. So drier and warmer than normal weather is likely going to stick around for the next several days. So please keep that in mind. If we do take a look just at the next 7 days when it comes to that rainfall, again, Tuesday is really going to be the big push of rain. An isolated shower can't be ruled out by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but honestly, really don't think we have all too much to worry about. Back to you, Max.
Turning to baseball now, it takes a player with pretty good range to cover Triples Alley at Oracle Park. The Giants picked up Harrison Bader in the offseason to play center field. Matt Lively got to know a little more about the veteran in Scottsdale.
The Giants entered this offseason with a glaring need for an outfielder, and they solved that by adding Harrison Bader, who has a singular focus this season.
I'm just looking forward to putting all the work in to, work towards our goal of making the playoffs and winning a World Series.
Bader is a 9-year vet who spent last year with Minnesota and Philadelphia. He has a Gold Glove on his trophy case and is eager to play the position at Oracle Park.
There's necessity from this club in center field, so just taking advantage of that is kind of why this was really a no-brainer. So I'm thrilled for the experience.
The outfielder is pumped to play for Tony Vitello, who he has full confidence in.
We all have a lot at stake. He's a first-year manager. Everybody kind of fallen in love with his story and transitioning from the SEC directly to the MLB, and that's special. He's here for a reason.
Competed against him in college, and I'm glad I'm in the same dugout as him and don't have to deal with him being on the other side, because he's a headache if he's on the other team.
Bader is a guy who is all in on the sport.
What hobbies do you have when it isn't baseball?
It's my only hobby. Baseball's my only hobby.
But there is more to him than meets the eye, including an interesting connection with a popular indie rock band.
As a big fan who has seen them live, can you please tell me your experience with Vampire Weekend?
Yes.
His cousin, Chris Baio, is the bassist for Vampire Weekend.
For anybody who's never been to a Vampire Weekend concert, it's definitely something you should cross off your list because it really is a special sound. So, always, every chance I get, I'd love to shout out Vampire Weekend.
Is it true that you were in a music video?
I was, yeah. I wasn't necessarily the centerpiece,
okay,
but I was present in the music video.
Baseball might be his day job, but he can always dream about life as a musician.
Something I definitely regret growing up is not at least picking up one instrument or something. I guess looking back, I'll give myself some grace in knowing that I didn't have time to practice anything other than baseball.
But if they ask you to grab a tambourine and maybe go on stage with them, you're in?
Oh, absolutely, of course. I don't think there's a tambourine sound that they really kind of look for, but maybe they'll do one that's kind of muted so I'm not actually playing, but I just look like I'm playing. I would definitely be open to that.
Bader seems to already have his own groupies here with the Giants. He's been taking extra reps in the outfield after practice ends and encouraging teammates to come along with him.
Coming up after the break, an event featuring rare and antiquarian books comes to San Francisco next weekend. We'll have a live conversation with a Bay Area bookseller who is taking part. And Governor Gavin Newsom on hand as a new multi-million-dollar learning center opens at San Quentin. How inmates hope it'll ease their return to society after their release. Welcome back. Book lovers have a big weekend ahead next week. The 57th California International Antiquarian Book Fair returns to Pier 27 next Friday, runs through Sunday, and it's estimated to bring in more than 100 rare book dealers and floors of collectibles, people from all over the world here. So joining us now, Lou Cohen, the owner of B Street Books in Burlingame, to tell us more about it. Good morning, Lou. Great to see you.
Hey, good morning. Nice to see you, Max.
So this is a big deal. This is some of the people who collect some of the most rare books in the world. Tell us a little bit about what will be on display on next weekend.
Well, there'll be a wide range. You know, we use the term antiquarian, but there are old things, there are newer things, there are fine press books and beautiful illustrations, engravings, lots of different material. There's a little bit for everybody here.
So this is one of the things that when you and I chatted about this before the show, one thing that jumped out to me was that there's something for everyone. Whether you're a big book lover, big book collector or not, you can see something and learn something. What would you want someone to experience when they check this fair out?
Well, I'd love to see the younger crowd come because we need young people reading, so we have we turn them into collectors as they get older. And it's just great to see kids come and are amazed by some of the materials we have on display. We'll have dealers from Europe and from Asia, from all over the United States, and just a really interesting mix of books and ephemera. There'll be maps and drawings, just lots of great material to see.
So, Lou, you recently relocated, by the way, from San Mateo to Burlingame. I know you have been in the book industry for quite some time. What is it about reading that is so special to you that you'd want to transmit to others?
Well, I think it's an important part of kids growing up. They need reading to help them to be better citizens. It helps you with your vocabulary and your ability to write and to understand others. So getting started early is important to me. That's why we have an open shop in Burlingame, and we love to see little kids come in. We have everything from early readers to antiquarian books for the collectors here. So I think it's about it's just about the love of reading for us.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this to get rich, but rich in spirit.
Rich in spirit. I love that. So for those who don't know, antiquarian books, give us an example of what that means in case somebody has never heard the term before.
Well, generally an antiquarian is something older than, say, 100 years. And it could be, the printing press was invented quite a long time ago now. And some of the things that we'll see at the show are from the 1500s, and all the way through. We have, there are some examples right behind me on the shelves in the shop, and lots more at the show.
And you'll be there, correct?
We will be. We'll be on the second floor.
Perfect.
I will say it's a great venue up at Pier 27. It'll be Friday through Sunday, and we are expecting to have some live jazz on Sunday afternoon. Lots of interesting lectures going on. You should look at, if you just Google Pier 27 and book fair, it'll come right up.
Perfect. Well, Lou, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today and looking forward to the event next weekend. Lou Cohen, owner of B Street Books in Burlingame. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Max.
Absolutely. All right, coming up after the break, champion drivers show off their skills at the Red Bull Showrun on San Francisco's Marina Boulevard. And in one of those vehicles, Zoe Mintz for a high-octane ride. She'll relive the experience.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Max Darrow. Here are the stories you will see over the course of our next half hour. San Quentin was once known as one of the toughest prisons in the nation. Now, it's a trailblazer for a new approach to incarceration and rehabilitation. The prison's transformation continued this week with the official unveiling of the San Quentin Learning Center. The hope: teach inmates valuable skills that'll keep them on the right side of the law once they're out.
Incarcerated people need to know that this learning center right here is for them, for them to participate, rehabilitate, and get back out there in the communities.
Introduce us to a man who is excited to work while behind bars for a chance at a better life down the road. Following in the footsteps of a historic Californian and prominent religious leader, and taking a moment to pause along the way. The two-day, 24.5-mile journey between missions in San Rafael and San Francisco, tracing the steps of St. Junipero Serra in the inaugural Camino de San Francisco.
What I came out of this whip was that it's really empowering to do something like together as a group.
We'll introduce you to the high schoolers and leaders with a unique connection to this particular route. And when it's time to zoom around with Zoe, we'll do so literally. Zoe suited up for a front seat ride in one of the high-octane Red Bull vehicles, putting on a wild show for 50,000 people along San Francisco's Marina Green this weekend.
It was so freaking cool. They went so fast. I never thought I would be staring at the Golden Gate Bridge going like 100 miles an hour. So cool.
Zoe will take you along for the ride and relive the experience through the marina. But first, the changing political landscape in California. The state Democratic Convention wraps up later today at San Francisco's Moscone Center. The delegates are assessing the candidates, and many constituents say they'd like to see them stand up to President Trump. John Ramos speaks with rank-and-file Democrats on their desire for effective party leadership.
There probably won't be any big decisions made at this convention about endorsing a candidate for governor, but it is an opportunity for people to get together to begin deciding the future of the Democratic Party in California. The discussion began out on the sidewalk, with people expressing various concerns, with, of course, the most passionate being Donald Trump. And inside, it certainly felt like people were gearing up for a fight.
But we have to figure out what's going to be better for the future. And this is a scary time. But it's that Chinese curse. You're living in interesting times. We can affect it.
But for some Democrats, the fight is with the party itself.
A lot of behavior within the party itself was kind of upsetting to me, especially after the loss in 2024.
Alan Lai is a first-time delegate from Riverside who got involved in the party after Donald Trump won re-election. But he says many young people are putting a lot of blame on the Democratic Party for sticking so long with Joe Biden as their candidate.
And it's like, you didn't listen to us and you lost. In their minds, that is validating to the fact that you not listening to them, that's your fault. And so a lot of the chatter around where I'm from, and with a lot of the people that I talk to, it's like, they kind of asked for it.
A group of young activists echoed that sentiment. They belong to a group called Grassroots Democrats HQ, which is looking for a new direction for the party.
It's very easy to fall into disillusionment, but I think that this is the best time to be motivated to change things. So yeah, I definitely would say the overarching Trump factor plays a big role.
I think older people, it's time to overcomplicate it, right? Young people just want somebody who relates to them, who's doing good work for them, and I think we see it. It's not so much about party with younger people.
That may not be good news for party officials who are desperately trying to recapture a majority in Congress in November. At the same time, they're looking to find someone to fill the governor's seat. The candidates each got 4 minutes to address the crowd, but with 10 people running, it's unlikely that any will come away with any endorsement from this gathering. But the belief here is that candidates will begin dropping out in time to settle on a Democrat who can appear on the November ballot.
Yes, I'm concerned. But this is February. I prefer a little stirring of the soup to get it blended and get it right.
But if people are feeling unheard, perhaps the party can take a lesson from these guys. Sitting at a mostly empty table were advocates for something called the empathy movement. They're traveling the campaign trail, advocating for both parties to sit down and begin talking and listening to each other for the sake of the nation.
You know, sometimes it's like a marriage. You know, people stop listening to each other until things get so bad they finally go to, you know, couples therapy. So sometimes you just have to wait till things get so bad people are finally willing to try something else.
If you look at the news and you hear people who are very angry, they don't feel heard. I think that's universal. And when they do feel heard, there's a shift.
So far, that shift hasn't happened, and no one has called in a marriage counselor yet. But in the meantime, the Democratic Party in California continues to stir the soup, hoping this time to get it right.
Coming up after the break, we take a look inside San Quentin's $200 million learning center. We'll hear from a prison news anchor. using part of his prison time to write and deliver broadcasts. Once one of the most notorious prisons in the nation, San Quentin is now paving the way for prison reform with a new emphasis on rehabilitation. In fact, there's a new program there that inmates are lining up to get involved with, all with the hope it'll make their eventual transition back into society smoother. Here's Kelsey Thorud.
Eric Allen is a bit of a big deal at San Quentin.
I'm Eric Allen, reporting for Criminal Justice News.
He's the prison's one and only news anchor. He's been doing it for about a year now and already has a following.
I even had a guy come from another prison recently and was just like, "Hey, Eric Allen, I know you." And I'm like, "I see your broadcast. Keep doing your thing."
For the entire time Eric's been reporting, he's done it out of a small newsroom in the prison, the same space the facility's internal newspaper is produced. But that all changes in March.
I'm very proud of this. I live down the road. So I've been driving by this and seeing the hard hats as they're coming in every day, and it's just, it's really wonderful.
Governor Gavin Newsom was on hand as the prison celebrated the opening of its new learning center, a $239 million, 3-building, 80,000+ square foot campus that will offer inmates a variety of learning opportunities from media to tech to education. This learning center is the first in a series of updates that's part of a larger shift for San Quentin to a new prison model emphasizing rehabilitation. It's a concept borrowed from prison reforms in Norway. The goal, to help better prepare inmates for when they're released back into society.
It was always about public safety. It was always about community safety. It was about, yes, being smart on crime. You can say smart as well as tough on crime. Was not about the old binaries. It was just about pragmatism. It was about dealing with the fundamental fact that 95% of people in this system are going to go back into your neighborhood. And what kind of neighbors do you want them to be?
But we also heard from Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley, who says real rehabilitation reform needs to go beyond just one prison project.
As part of our correction system, we do invest in things like job training, like continuing education, like preparing individuals with skills that will allow them to become productive members of society when they re-enter. And so to the extent that this is, a step towards those sort of goals, then perhaps it can be helpful. But just having one center, and he's seems to be doing it at San Quentin for mostly symbolic reasons, doesn't really go that far. It needs to be deeply embedded in our entire system of criminal justice.
The new complex will officially open to inmates at the end of March. For those like Eric, they are counting down the days to get in and get to work. For now, he's going to have to continue to put together his newscast in the old facility, but this announcement will definitely be the lead story.
It's definitely going to make my news broadcast, because the people need to hear that. This is for them. The incarcerated people need to know that this learning center right here is for them, for them to participate, rehabilitate, and get back out there in the communities.
6:43 on this Sunday morning. Meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us live now. And Zoe, I feel like yesterday was turtleneck weather. Today is definitely not.
No, I mean, if you want to, I'm not going to stop you from wearing a turtleneck. You can be a fashionista all you want, but...
I wouldn't call myself that, but yeah.
But we are going to be seeing a lot nicer weather this afternoon. Cool. It is going to be warmer, especially down south. So places like our South Bay communities are going to be in the upper 60s today. Hey, I don't think that's turtleneck weather, but again, I don't judge. We're going to be seeing quite a lot of rain across our northern parts of California and maybe the North Bay communities. But the farther south you go, the drier it's going to be and the warmer it's going to get. So let's take you to the future, show you exactly what's going to be happening as we step out later this afternoon and evening. Follow along timestamp bottom right corner of the screen. Look at that. Northern California is really the only place getting in on the action. A little bit of the northern parts of the North Bay again, but really not going to be a very impactful storm system today. For us, across the Pacific Northwest, that's where the real atmospheric river moisture is going to be centered. Look at what happens, though, by Monday and into Tuesday. Basically, all day Monday should be dry, but by overnight Monday and into the day Tuesday, that's when the widespread moisture will be arriving and some heavier pockets of downpours likely, especially across our North Bay communities, waking up early Tuesday morning and continuing basically throughout the day, on again, off again. South Bay communities, you should be getting in on a little bit of action. Obviously not as much as our North Bay, but it is going to be a round of on again, off again rainfall throughout the day on Tuesday before drying out and quieting down into Wednesday. So it's really all dependent on where you're located, how much of that rain you're going to get over the next several days. But it's definitely going to be a highest across our North Bay, where this afternoon and evening, really honestly, north of Santa Rosa is going to be the heaviest of it. But a few isolated raindrops or two cannot be ruled out farther south. But again, definitely not an impactful day by any means. This afternoon, like I said, really nice weather. Low 60s farther north where there is going to be a little bit of rain, but upper 60s farther south. Like I said, San Jose 68 degrees this afternoon. And look at what happens by tomorrow. Everybody warms up into the upper 60s and maybe even your 70 degrees down in San Jose. Definitely going to be reaching those low 70s down in Hollister. Everybody is going to be feeling a few degrees above average for this time of year. Even with a bit more cloud coverage on Monday, it's still going to be dry, still going to be nice before that storm system heads our way on Tuesday, cools us down just a little bit, and then we'll be seeing a lot warmer and a lot drier weather on the way. So early this morning, a beautiful start to our day. The sunrise is just as gorgeous as yesterday, I would say. We are still going to be seeing those quiet conditions this afternoon, not nearly as windy as yesterday as well. You'll notice by Tuesday, though, when that next storm system arrives, 15 to 25 mile an hour gust, but again, definitely not a windy system, and it's not going to be crazy heavy rainfall. Today's rain, really, again, North Bay communities, that's it. By the time that we step out Monday, nothing to talk about. But late Monday and into Tuesday, highest totals anywhere from 1/2 of an inch to over an inch across our North Bay. A couple of hundredths to 1/4 of an inch farther south and farther inland. So again, it's all location dependent, and it's really only going to be that one day on Tuesday, quieting down through the later parts of the week and into the weekend. And when we're talking about snow, unfortunately, it does look like that snow level is going to be relatively high, above 8,500 to maybe 9,000 feet. So really not going to be a whole lot of snow with this system. It's a relatively warm system, and look at that, Thursday and Friday of next week, San Jose will be seeing those high temperatures in the 70s. So get ready for warmer and drier weather, but keep the umbrella handy on Tuesday. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Zoe. 50,000 people lined up to see these cars roar through the marina this weekend, but one person got a chance to go along for the ride of a lifetime. Her name, Zoe Mintz. We'll go zoom in with Zoe literally when we come back. 50,000 people crowded the marina on Saturday for a wild show of raw power and world-class drivers. And their perspective is one they'll always remember. But Zoe has one she will never forget.
Yes, I got to ride along in one of those high-performance vehicles. I was literally zooming this week. In the shadow of the Golden Gate Bridge, in front of tens of thousands of spectators, some spectacular high-performance vehicles went full throttle.
Well, Mother Nature planned it out perfectly. Beautiful weather in store all across San Francisco, and perfect weather because I have the need for speed.
The Red Bull showrun is right up my alley.
I'm gonna be riding along, though, in a Red Bull Raptor T1 Plus.
My driver for the day? Professional off-road racing champion Mitch Guthrie Jr. The Raptor, it's his bad boy.
It's really cool because we race it internationally, so now people get to see it here in the States for the show run.
Mitch is actually the guy who jumped over the Formula One race car in Pacific Heights the other day. As to how fast we're going to go?
It's about 110 miles an hour, but the big thing is in this is the suspension, the tires, all that.
So I signed my life away, put on a fire suit, and got some advice from another pro, stunt motorcyclist Aaron Colton.
The biggest advice that I have for it is I can almost guarantee as soon as you start, it's going to be shocking. Everything's going to be fine. Because the car is going to accelerate harder than you've ever accelerated, and it's going to stop quicker than you've ever stopped. So it's not just this. You got to know when you're coming into a turnaround, like start clenching.
Mechanics first fitted me with a helmet and then into the car. Then we took off. The spectators and scenery literally became a blur. Then donuts, lots and lots and lots of donuts. up and down Marina Boulevard.
It was at one point where he was going so fast that I literally just had to stare at the GoPro camera just so I did not get dizzy and throw up. And he said he even got dizzy for a second doing that one, so I'm happy that I was not alone.
Fellow adrenaline junkie.
How crazy was that?
It was so much fun.
None other than San Francisco's own Mayor Daniel Lurie. He too rode shotgun in the Raptor. We both waved as we did donuts, but he was a little bit more nervous.
I was waving. The problem was Mitch, the race car driver, was also waving. I was like, please put two hands on the wheel. So that was crazy.
From the rooftops to the green, the only thing louder than the cars was the roar of the fans.
They was doing like these cool tricks and spins and donuts.
And as for me, absolutely unforgettable.
It was so freaking cool. They went so fast. I never thought I would be staring at the Golden Gate Bridge going like 100 miles an hour. So cool.
That is so cool. Zoe, I'm laughing because I could see you loosened up. In the beginning, in the donuts, you were like holding onto the helmet, like, what do I do? And then you were waving at the end of it. It was amazing. What was the coolest thing?
I mean, just seeing everybody. Like, I've driven down that road so many times. And the stoplights were going. Like, it was going green, yellow, red. And I was like, doesn't matter. We're just doing donuts right next to the stoplight. It was so cool. At one point, literally all I saw was smoke out the window.
Oh my God. We're going to talk about this for like hours later. Sorry you guys can't have the whole conversation.
I know.
All righty, coming up after the break, we've got to trek 24 miles of the Bay Area. We'll meet some of these teenagers as they walk from San Rafael to the city, find out what this two-day effort is all about. Finally this morning, a group of high school students are the first to venture on a 24-mile Catholic pilgrimage from San Rafael to San Francisco. It was a two-day journey that left them with an experience they'll hold close for years to come.
All right here, everybody.
This moment marked the beginning of a two-day journey guided by faith, honor, and tradition.
I'm doing this because I think it's a great experience where I can get closer to God and just get active,
Alessandro De Leon is a student at Junipero Serra High School and one of the around 10 people who inaugurated the Camino de San Francisco. It's a 24.5-mile Catholic pilgrimage connecting two missions in San Rafael and San Francisco. Father Christopher Iwancio led the way.
We're basically walking from the mission of San Rafael to Mission Dolores in San Francisco. We're celebrating the 800th anniversary of the passing of St. Francis.
The group followed the footsteps of St. Junipero Serra from Mission San Rafael Archangel to the north end of the Golden Gate Bridge on day one. It was a special moment for Billy Burns, the ministry director at Serra.
It's a great connection between St. Serra and our students and our school. Also, this being the inaugural Camino de San Francisco, really feel fortunate, blessed to be a part of that.
During a Camino, pilgrims put life on hold to focus on the moment, faith, and inner reflection. Though tired after 15 miles on day one, rewarded with some much-needed pizza, the students took a lot away from the experience, like Cooper Smith.
And you got to see a lot of sites that even Junipero Serra went on, a lot of places that have amazing views. It's just all around amazing.
Alessandro appreciated the sense of community.
What I came out of this with was that it's really empowering to do something like together as a group.
To walk together in the footsteps.
Before getting back on the road on Saturday to cross the Golden Gate Bridge and finish the journey to Mission Dolores, Father Iwancio shared this wisdom that goes well beyond faith.
Take a walk with somebody and take some walk with your neighbors and meet people and try to meet the people who are around you and maybe you might experience the world a little bit different.
Creating a stronger community, one step at a time. What a nice day for that, too. And we just have to go back again to Zoe one more time. What a beautiful day for your unforgettable ride there. Biggest takeaway from experiencing that ride of a lifetime?
Oh my gosh, biggest takeaway was those cars are scary. The people who drive them are so professional.
Yeah.
The fact that he was, again, I know Mayor Daniel Lurie did not like it, take his hand off the wheel and wave while doing donuts, just calm, cool, and collected. Like, that is such another skill I didn't even know possible.
It's incredible. Well, so cool. And you were the one that went over pack
I know!
So cool.
I'd be in Daniel Lurie were the same one, too.
Amazing.
I
All right.
love it.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley's coming up next on KPIX. Local news continues on their streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. Have a great Sunday.